Davos. We are excited for our last session of the day. I am Vice President of Partnerships at Vantiq, David Sprinzen. I'm here with CEO of Blaize. And Dinakar, if you could maybe talk a little bit around what you've experienced this week at the left at Davos, some themes, things that maybe you were surprised by or you're particularly excited by.
Sure. First of all, David, thanks for having me here. And I first of all, I think it's not WEF anymore. I think it's World AI Forum is what.
Yes.
It's been everywhere AI, including some of the government stages, etc. It's all about AI. So that was, I think, quite exciting. And us being front and center in the middle of AI, having technology that we're productizing and bringing to different industries was quite exciting. So, yeah.
So obviously, you mentioned the prevalence of AI in basically every conversation here.
Right.
And that's been obviously a newer trend where now everyone is talking about it.
Right.
You've been in the AI space for a long time. You have a history of innovation in AI hardware, especially AI edge devices. I'm curious if you could comment on how your history has impacted your understanding of AI and kind of how we got to where we are today.
Right. Well, thanks. We my co-founding team and I, we were building graphics processors in our prior lives. In fact, some of the chips that we built went into Centrino's MacBook line of products. And when we started up Blaize, we started with the idea that the next generation workloads need a different kind of compute. And that was the thesis. We started much before, of course, the whole ChatGPT movement in AI. And we were focused on a few key things: lower power AI, lower latency, and frankly, a big class of computer vision algorithms. In a way, we were a little bit ahead, and the industry found us. One of our early trips to Japan, the automotive industry, they were looking at disruptive technologies, and they threw different problems at us. And they said, "Hey, what you have is truly special." And they invested, and it's been a partnership. So that was our journey through the processing needs for edge and for AI.
So you mentioned edge. To those that might not be totally familiar with what that means, can you talk a little bit more about the concept of edge AI and how that is maybe different than a lot of the other AI that's out there, and why you potentially need to move AI into devices?
Sure. So the way we look at it is AI is really going from a 1.0 to a 2.0. The 1.0 was all about deep data center, and it was built by experts for the experts, companies like Facebook, Google, etc. And the reason was that they had access to compute, talent, and data, and they applied it to internet search, e-commerce, etc., multi-trillion-dollar companies. But if you move outside of the data center into a real physical world, everything from smart cities, defense, automotive, agriculture, healthcare, education, the amount of data that's there is about 1 million times larger than deep data center, right? So that's the level of opportunity that there exists. But the needs are very different. Usually, these are low power devices. They're operating, imagine a lamppost in a smart city operated by a battery, a camera which runs on battery, or an automotive that's running at 80 miles an hour and needs to make a real-time decision. So low latency is often an important one. And the number of diverse industries out there and use cases, the flexibility of the product is extremely important. So true programmability, right, at hardware and software level. And one of the most important things is the expertise gap. All of the people here are not AI experts. They're good at their businesses, running factories, running smart cities, etc., etc. But AI is relatively new, so one can't show up with, "Hey, I have a chip which is better on a certain benchmark. Take it." You got to show up with a solution. That's where having a full stack, combination of hardware plus software and partnerships like Vantiq that gives value to these industries. And so therefore you end up with a solution to a certain problem. And that's what we are seeing is happening.
Yeah, you mentioned the partnership between Vantiq and Blaize, which we are very excited about what we can accomplish together with Blaize, agile hardware and adaptability of your inferencing, and Vantiq as the software layer that can connect that into all sorts of business automation, decision making, and real-time intelligent systems out on the edge. Are there any use cases in your mind that you see as the game changers, both for us as partners, but also for the industry?
Absolutely. In fact, I don't know how much I can say, but as you know, we are excited about use cases in defense and other places. So the big deal for me was that real timeness and very context aware, rich dashboards, if you will. Right. What I mean by that is, imagine, for example, there is a big industrial setting or an oil and gas field where there are like a million different sensors, right? Different kinds of sensors, etc., and they're all connected back to a common command and control center, automatically detecting, hey, there's a fire in a certain zone, and then sending reinforcement, etc., and everything being automated by AI is a pretty breakthrough thing, right? Lives can be saved. It's better efficiency. So many things. So I think those kind of use cases are important. Of course, in defense and battlefield is another area where this is, and of course also drones, etc. All these are different kinds of sensors. So the real timeness, and also one of the other thing is today the state of the art. Most of the dashboards, when you look at a command and control center, are one-way streets. There's all this data coming back, and a person is actually looking at it and trying to make a decision. And this is tricky because how many people can you have in a command and control center? You'll be limited by that, versus the number of sensors or cameras are like, thousands and thousands. So applying AI and making this a two-way context, right? Like, hey, tell me if there's some incident happening in a certain zone, just a command like that and getting an answer back. It's very rich, right? So we're seeing that there's interest in such kind of use cases. And of course, as you take it to different industries, the technology is fundamentally the same. And then, of course, customizing it to different industries could be massive.
Yeah, I think you touched on some of the really interesting elements of AI moving from maybe more traditional, or a couple of years ago, the use cases that were the most prevalent around identification of what's going on and maybe some visualization and dashboarding. But now it's really transitioned into something that's much more about how do we have AI assistants to help us understand what's going on, take action, and work between the AIs and the humans involved to achieve the targeted outcomes, right? I am very happy that you were able to make it. I know you've been very busy. Blaize just became public, and congratulations.
Thank you much.
Yeah, on Blaize becoming public. I know that there was, I'm sure, a lot of work behind the scenes and going into that. Are you feeling optimistic about the market of AI and how we get there? Is there maybe a little bit of we need to be more pragmatic about how we're approaching AI as an industry? Like, do you think that there's what is the balance between optimism and pragmatism in your mind for us to be effective here?
Sure. First of all, thanks for your wishes. Our team really worked hard, and very excited for the team and everybody involved regarding the going public. But to answer your question regarding the balance of optimism and practicalness, within AI, all of the use cases that we have focused on are really practical AI, right? Something which is touching people's lives, physical AI. It could be a factory, it could be a defense, a smart city, agriculture. So we're in that part of AI. So all of the wonderful work that's happening in the form of AI models in the cloud, there is a necessity for them to be brought out to the edge, and that's when value is created. So while the AI hype exists, I do feel as long as the hype translates into real practical use cases and is impacting people, those will be sustained. So that's the part I think I'm most excited about.
Yeah. Well, we're here at an event around AI for impact,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And I think one of the themes of this week that was established is collaboration in the intelligent age. And collaboration is key. It's not a matter of one company owning everything, both on the development of the technology and the implementation of it, but it's how do we work together to find the right practical impacts that we can go after and make a difference.
Right.
So
Absolutely. And I do think that also there is a tremendous amount of sharing of data and models. For example, a use case like somebody detecting weeds in an agriculture problem, that AI data and model can be utilized for a factory automation problem where you're detecting cracks in a magnetic tile, let's say, and that to a smart city and so on. So I do agree with you. This is also a true form of sustainable AI, because you're not necessarily training from scratch every problem, but a lot of reuse and then applying it to different fields. I agree with you. I think that's how also impact happens.
Yeah, I think the reusability is really important when creating the kind of general purpose architectures, both at the hardware level and the software level, that can be repurposed, dual use across many different applications, and then taking those at scale for all, because in many cases, the fundamentals of the AI capabilities are the same. It's just more or less a configuration of how it works in different environments.
Completely.
I think that those building blocks is exactly what we're working on together. So yeah, very exciting. Thank you all for coming to our event. And I'm sure you're all ready for some champagne and caviar. So we'll wrap it up there. And thank you for meeting us in Davos.
Thank you.